Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys from down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners across the pond in London, England, as well as Latin America. And, of course, you good old boys up in Canada. You know we love you in Canada. I also want to give a big shout-out to the Big C Tribe following us from Africa. Thank you for following from the pyramids in Africa. Also, I want to say to you good old boys down south, there's no one we love more than all the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Today is a beautiful October the 26th, 2017 in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And if you love baseball, I'm telling you, baseball last night was played the way Major League Baseball was meant to be played. You had the Dodgers with the best record in the NL. You had the Astros with the best record in the American League. And you think about baseball at Chavez Ravine, and when you're going up against that Dodgers, for anyone to think that Jensen would give up a home run and all they had to do is close out one more pitcher and the Dodgers would have walked away with a 3-2 win. But this game going into extra innings is almost like the baseball gods. They wanted to see something that was spectacular. And when you think about Hollywood, you're in the land of make-believe where things can be scripted, if you know what I mean, Big C. And when I think about the great presence of baseball players being played in LA, we had talked about it just before the show, and Big C will be joining in soon. We talked about it just before the show yesterday. The hot air in LA will make the ball fly a little bit higher. It'll fly a little bit longer. So to have 8 home runs hit in a World Series Game 2, when it really is a crucial game for both teams, is crucial because you have the Dodgers. If the Dodgers go up 2-0, and then Houston has to go back home, even though they have 3 games in a row at home, if they go down 0-2 to a team that has great pitching and a team that has great hitting, it would make it so much more difficult for the Houston Astros to get right back in it. But as fate would have it for baseball, we have 2 great pitchers, Big C. Verlander last night actually came back out of the dugout. He went into the dugout when they had the lead. I don't know what he was doing in the dugout when they had the lead. I thought he was going to sit there and watch his team play. But coming back out, giving his team motivation. Great baseball. It's a shame that somebody had to lose that game last night because, Big C, I think it was one of the better games, I would say, in the history of the World Series. Big C, your thoughts? Yeah.
There's in Game 7 when it was a back-and-forth slugfest. The Dodgers have won 90% of the time that they 98% of the time actually that they've been trailing in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
won 98 games.
Yeah.
When they've been winning the 8th inning going into it. And last night, was an enigma. No one expected for the Dodgers to lose after, leading going into the 8th inning.
Yeah.
But they used 9 relief pitchers last night, Charles. Just an uncounting number of relief pitchers, but when you look at the manager, you're playing to win the game. You're not worried about the next game. You're playing to win this game.
Yeah.
And you think about it, there were 5 home runs hit last night in the extra innings.
Yeah.
And so this was an outstanding game. There were 8 which set a major league record for a World Series.
Yeah.
So when you think about the bats coming alive last night in that warm weather in Los Angeles, everybody ironically expected Houston to win the game because Verlander was pitching.
Yeah.
You figured you gave him that one. But Verlander didn't get the victory last night.
No, not at all.
When he left the game, they were trailing. But all of a sudden, Houston said, hey, we've been the best hitting team in baseball all year long.
Yep.
We can't afford to go home 0-2 down to the Dodgers who led the major league in victories, Charlton.
Yeah.
But going back to Houston now, they got Hugh Darvish on the mound. Now, you think about what Hugh Darvish has done on the road in his last 4 games as a starter.
Yeah.
He is 0.88 ERA in his last 4 games as a starter.
Yeah.
And he also faced Houston early in the year, Charlton, in an interleague game where he only allowed 1 run in that game. So when you look at this game, this is really a toss-up.
Yeah.
No one has a clear-cut advantage in this game. Everyone says that home field advantage.
Yeah.
When you get to the World Series, there's no such thing as a home run advantage, Charlton. It's called a bat advantage.
Yeah.
Who is hitting? Because these pitchers are throwing like there's no tomorrow. They're not worried about getting to their next start.
Right.
They're worried about only winning the game that they're playing that moment. So they're going to throw everything they have. I thought the Dodgers made a huge mistake when they took Hill out of the game early.
Yeah.
I mean, Houston couldn't touch him.
No.
And I think that was a major difference of the game. When he got out of the one inning, when the ball went off the center fielder's cap,
yeah.
Because they could have easily scored 3 runs in that inning.
Yeah.
But that move, that misfortune on the foul saved the Dodgers and kept them in the game and took us in extra innings last night.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That shows that we'll always wear your hat on front. For you young kids out there, I want to say this segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. Another pivotal moment of that game last night, Big C, is we talk about who's going to be the star. Whether it's the Dodgers, will it be Turner, who plays third base and bats .371? Will it be Yasiel Puig, who bats .375 out in right field? If he were about an inch longer, maybe he would have caught that ball that led to Houston scoring some runs. But it was a great effort to catch it. But then he comes right back and hits a home run, and it's almost like whether it was Puig hitting home runs or whether you had some of the guys from the Astros hitting run. Altuve had a hit last night, a home run. I just think this is what baseball is for. And when you look at Verlander, now maybe he had to use the restroom, but I don't know who would walk away and use the restroom in a game that tight. Maybe he thought it was done and he had to go in and get some barbecue or something. But when he came back out, I mean, this is a game where even the athletes admire, whether you win or lose, Big C. Great athletes admire other great athletes, and that's what we saw last night, Big C. I want to get your thoughts on that. Yeah, yeah.
It was Hollywood, whether it was the entertainment part there,
yep.
The music industry, other athletes, even Tiger Woods was at the game last night, Charles.
Yeah.
And so we had a great cross-sector of American society attending this great sporting event in Traverse Ravine. And like we said, it's the first time since '88 that they've been there.
Yeah.
And so when you think about the opportunity of the Dodgers, and, they've always had great fans. They're one of the leading attendance teams in the league.
Easily.
And it's a beautiful facility to watch a baseball game in, Charlton. When you think of all these new modern ballparks,
yep.
Dodger Stadium's been around some 60 years.
Yeah.
A long time. But it serves its purpose because they always keep it modernized.
Yeah.
But, the fans, everybody was into the game. This is not a series where the fans are sitting on their hands.
Yeah.
But all well,
Yeah.
Even in game one, it's a gripping performance every night. When you look at the pictures with the number of the strikeouts that they're throwing, Kershaw,
yeah.
Verlander, these guys are putting the ball, where it can't be touched.
Yeah.
The first 2 innings last night, Verlander had 4 strikeouts.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, here we go.
Yep.
And that's how the game was played. It was very tight, Charlton. It was pitched to the best. And these athletes have been performing,
yeah.
on both sides of the plate. And so this is what you look for in this October Classic.
Yeah.
Tremendous baseball. We saw a Super World Series last year with the Cubs and Indians.
Yep.
And we're getting another one. This game last night with the home runs, this reminds me, I believe it was in 1992 when Joe Carter hit the home run for the Toronto Blue Jays to beat the Phillies.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
World Series in Game 7. This was reminiscent of that last night to me. I know it was a great series last year.
Yeah.
But this took me all the way back to 92, Charlton.
And that's when I think the ball went over the left field, right? They were looking at the foul pole, but he made the home run. I remember that up in the Sky Dome up in Toronto. And when you look at this series going back, now I think they're expecting rain tomorrow, so they're going to close the dome. I think they were closing the dome today down in Houston. Even though I think it's great to have baseball when you can see the stars in the sky and you can see the whole universe, Big C. That to me is what makes baseball great. Let me get your thoughts on going back to the dome. Now, in L.A., they had 100-plus degree temperature in Game 1. Game 2, it wasn't quite 100, but it was in the mid-90s. Now they're going back to an air-conditioned building. The ball won't fly as far in a air-conditioned environment as it will when it's 100 degrees outside. The ball lifts a little bit easier. Give me your thoughts. Will that affect? It may affect the home runs, of course. I don't think we'll ever see 8 home runs in a World Series game, Big C. But do you think it's going to affect the batting at all, knowing that you're not hitting for home runs as much as you're trying to hit to get on base if you're the Dodgers or the Astros, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, talking the ball carries well around in Houston. That's why they were the best hitting team in baseball.
Yeah.
And you think about it. In the playoffs this year, they're 4-0 at They
Yeah.
haven't lost a game yet at home since the playoffs have started.
Yeah.
So they like the confines of their home ballpark.
Yeah.
With the roof being closed, it really doesn't make a difference if you put proper wood on the ball. Like, you know, we talked about Joe Carter's home run in 92.
Yeah.
The dome was closed in Toronto.
Yeah.
And that ball carried.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about when Minnesota used to be in the World Series back in the 80s and 90s,
Yep.
the Metrodome, it was closed. And so there's been plenty of World Series that have played in dome stadiums, Charlton, and they've been closed, and the ball will carry.
Yeah.
You know, it's about where you put that pitch in. Does he have an opportunity to put great wood on it?
Yeah.
Now, I think the motivation of being back home for Houston is going to be great because they know they haven't lost at home.
Yeah.
But Hugh Darvish, you know, is the X factor. As we say, you know, he's 4-0 in his last 4 starts. Houston hasn't lost in the last 4 games at home. Something has to give in this. That 0.88 ERA,
Yeah.
you know, that Darvish is taking into the game. We got a lot of 4s going on. So, you know, I'm used to hearing 4 in golf.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so we got a lot of 4s in the game.
Yeah, when you slice, you hear a lot of 4, and you know that's funny when you think about that. I do want to go right across the country real quick. I know we're all jazzed. The baseball universe is jazzed about the LA Dodgers and the Houston Astros, and this is not the first go around for the Dodgers, but the first go around for the Astros. Now they're going down deep in the heart of Texas. Should be a great series. If we're looking at least 6 or 7 games in this, it would be great. I still say because of the tutelage of Vin Scully behind the microphone and how many players and broadcasters have learned just the way he has conversations. I think it would be great for the universal gods of baseball to see Vin Scully throwing out the game, the game pitch in the 7th game of the World Series, Dodger Stadium, Chavez Ravine. I think it would be a nice way to say, to top off his retirement party, even though it happened 2 years ago. The New York Yankees, Big C. In the Big Apple, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And here they are, having been out of the postseason for about 5 years. They have a manager who gets them back, and they say maybe he's a bit uptight, but he took a team that was a year away. It reminds me when Tampa got rid of Dungy, and they brought in Gruden with a team that Dungy had built that was Super Bowl ready, and then Dungy, you know, is out doing broadcast, and Gruden gets the credit for the Super Bowl. Do you kind of feel the Yankees are going to be good next year, no matter who's at the helm? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, they have the talent that has been groomed to go into Major League Baseball and
Yeah.
play at that level.
Yeah.
But, you know, you think about this, Joe Girardi, 10 years behind the fence in the managerial role with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Now, he's won a World Series, okay?
Yep.
He took a team that nobody expected to do anything
Nobody.
this year within one game of the World Series.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you think about it, he's the 3rd manager that has lost his job that has made the playoffs. We look at Boston, we look at Washington, and now New York.
Yeah.
The 3 managers who have made the playoffs and lost have lost their jobs. So what does it say about the rest of Major League Baseball when you don't even have a winning record?
Yep.
And you keep a job, but if you have a winning record and you make the playoffs and you come within a game or 2 of the World Series and you lose your job, you know, this doesn't bode well for the game, Charlton. You know, you think about Joe Girardi all over.
Yeah.
Winning percentage as a manager.
Yeah.
That's 5th all time. And, you know, not over the last 5 or 10 years, all time, a 586 winning percentage.
Yeah.
Now, so that's not a slouch. And he's managing in the toughest city in America.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you got the Mets across town and
Yep.
always are the little sister to the Yankees.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are always the headlines.
Yeah.
And for Joe Girardi to do what he's done with the Yankees after losing such great players as, you know, Alex Rodriguez,
Yeah.
Derek Jeter, you know, Mariano Rivera,
Yep.
you know, Oye Posada.
Yeah.
You know, he's lost some great players over the past couple of years and got this team back on track, back into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the manager, Brian Cashman, is saying, well, that's not good enough for us.
Yeah.
Since George Steinbrenner's left, I guess Cashman is the guy.
Yeah.
And to have an ego as big as he's having, saying the success that Girardi's bringing the organization, and he's a lifetime Yankee. He played for him, played in the World Series for him, managed him to a World Series.
Yeah.
How much more Yankee can you be?
Yeah, and you know, when you bring that up, Big C, you lose to a team that's in the World Series, and you took them 7 games, and you did not have home field advantage. And for the Yankees organization to allow the ego of one person to overrule the team, it does not make any sense. I mean, what else can the man do? They're a year away. They pushed the best team in the American League to the brink of the World Series, and they did it with less than a home field advantage. And so obviously when you get to this level, it's about ego. It's not always about who can win and who has the best juice going into a situation. As we always say, Big C, is who you know. But I know, just like Dusty Baker, Girardi will land on his feet. But it's just a shame when you have men who are being terminated when they're in the playoffs. How do you terminate guys in the playoffs and guys who haven't made the playoffs? They're still getting their teams ready for next season, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, what Cashman wants to do is bring in Don Mattingly, former Yankee first baseman, who ironically used to manage the Dodgers.
Yep.
And the Dodgers were a lackluster team when he was the manager.
Yeah.
So he's feeling that he can bring him in and he can take what Girardi did and take it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, the team is already set. So if Don Mattingly comes in next year and he's the manager of the Yankees,
yeah,
and they don't make the playoffs,
then what?
then you look to get rid of Cashman.
That's a good point.
Ownership, look to move. I mean, you had a team that's packed.
Yeah.
Just like with the Nationals, they didn't want to go that direction with Dusty Baker.
No.
Okay?
No.
Even though he got them through all the injuries and got them to where they were.
Yeah.
Just like with the Red Sox. I mean, you got three successful teams, and ironically, Charlton, all these teams are in the East.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
You got all the teams in the East that got rid of their managers.
For winning.
And even the Detroit Tigers got rid of theirs, even though they had a dismal year.
Yep.
But the teams in the East got rid of managers and are looking for someone that is less successful to put in place of them.
Yeah, that's a shame. But you know, like they say, it's all fair in love and war. It is all fair in Major League Sports. I do want to say that sports is a $1 billion industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this $1 billion industry. And for every sporting event, you need athletic insurance. We work with Ben and Mark, they've been around half a century, whether it's a pro team, a collegiate team, a high school team, or your mom and pop soccer leagues. They got you covered. When you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. Big C, another thing that I want to bring up also in the world of baseball, and it's something about the optics of the game. And I know we talk about this all the time. At some point, there's a diminishing return on the dollar. And I look at the Chavez Ravine is a gorgeous, gorgeous ballpark. The only thing wrong with it is you can't see downtown Los Angeles because it's behind the home plate down the hill. And the newer stadiums would have had you looking at downtown a lot like in San Francisco and also in Pittsburgh and other places too. So your thoughts on, did last night, and I haven't seen what the ratings are, but I can't find anyone that said they were not on the edge of their seats. Did last night show what baseball can be if they do it right by having, I mean, it's hard to say they can do this in regular season, but you had it set up so that you have these top pitchers with these top managers in these two great cities going at it, but baseball is not really promoted that way in the regular season. Can you tell me what we saw last night that baseball is missing in the regular season, Big C, your thoughts?
What you're looking at, Charlton, is a close series.
Yeah.
Where everything is confined down to a 7-game series. Over 182 games scheduled to 162 games
yeah.
scheduled to. That's a long time, Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, sellouts every night. Yeah, emotional drive every night.
Yep.
You're not down to just 4 starting pitchers when you're in the regular season.
Yeah.
You have 5 and 6 starting pitchers. During the playoffs, Charlton, you're down to 3, sometimes 4 starting pitchers.
Yeah.
And you're going to get the best. You're not looking at putting in the utility players. You know, every night you're going to see the best of the best. You're going to see the best bats. You're going to see the best arms.
Yeah.
You're going to see some critical decisions. It's like last night when the Dodgers used 9 relief pitchers. You don't normally get 9 relief pitchers, Charlton, in a regular season game.
No.
You'll let someone go out there and get beat down.
Yeah.
You know, you'll give up 5, 6, 7 runs, and you don't care as a manager. He needs to get the work in.
Yep.
But in the playoffs, every inning and every run and every at-bat counts.
Yeah.
And so you see a lot of strategicness during this time of the year, and that's what keeps the fans jockeying also on the edge of their seats.
Yes.
They're wondering what's the next move. Do you intentionally want?
I tell you what, Big C, when you think about it, it's always about strategy. But maybe they're just like you said, when you have this elimination game, baseball throughout the regular season, normally they have a 3-game series, or maybe rarely a 4, but usually a 3-game series. But there's something about the playoffs, and especially the World Series. I think this brings baseball back, just having an iconic team like the Dodgers in there. I want to also just stick with a little bit of LA and downtown Los Angeles. At the Staples Center last night, you had the LA Lakers getting a surprising win as a very young team over Washington, even though Washington comes in with John Wall, and there's a lot of talk about how he's going to shut down, the Lakers because he's the best player in the universe and all that jazz. At the end of the day, there was a time in the fourth period where John Wall didn't have any points. And I know that Ball's a young kid, but he did have a nice rebound and a couple of great assists that allowed them to actually tie the game in overtime and then win it in overtime. Your thoughts on the game in LA? It was a great environment for such a young team in Los Angeles to have such a raucous crowd. Big C, your thoughts?
This is one of those games a veteran team, playoff team, should go in and win handily.
Yeah.
They took this game for granted.
Yeah.
They felt that, the Lakers would just lay over because, the Wizards were in the playoffs last
Yep.
year.
Yeah.
John Wall did a little more talking than he did playing.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the thing that he has to pick his game up on.
Yeah.
Charlton, he was only 7 for 22 in the game last night.
Yeah, he had a bad game.
As a point guard,
No.
you got to be more consistent. If you're not hitting a shot, you got to become a distributor.
Yeah.
Even though his counterpart wasn't much better when you think about it.
Yeah.
Ball only had 2 baskets in the game.
Yeah.
And so, he's not putting the ball in the bucket offensively.
Yeah.
He did have the 10 assists, Charlton, which is always promising, but he has to become more of an offensive presence.
Yeah.
It's exciting for the ball. You have to be able to score. Even Rajon Rondo, who was one of the greatest passers, in the past decade and a half that we've seen in the NBA.
Yeah.
He can get you double-digit points. This is the one thing that Ball is going to have to step his game up on, is doing that, Charlton. But the most impressive part about the Lakers last night, when they got into overtime,
Yeah.
the average age of the players out on the court was 21 years of age.
Yeah, they're so young.
Think about this. We're talking about a very, very young team.
Yeah.
Half of them can't even drink. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the point that they're looking at, is that this is a team that's on the evolve part. Now,
Yeah.
everybody's talked about LeBron. If LeBron went to this team and you got a lot of role players,
Yeah.
think about how dominant he would become as an NBA player, even more so than what he is now in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But this is a team they're building for the future. I don't expect the Lakers to make a big splash because there's so many dominant teams in the West.
Yeah.
But this is a team, as they say, they're building for the future. Even though a lot of people want the future to be now,
Yep.
this is a team that's 2 to 3 years away from being a supreme team.
Yeah, they have so much young talent, Big C. As you mentioned, a lot of their players should still be in college, but we know college doesn't pay as well as the NBA. We know it pays, but not as well as the NBA yet. And speaking of paying, there's a player, I believe he was complaining that the NBA life is boring. I think Malik Monk for Charlotte, the Charlotte Hornets. I think he's 19 years old, multi-millionaire, says NBA life is boring. If it's that boring, he needs to be studying his playbook more until they get into the Eastern Conference playoffs, Big C, at least into the second round. That would make it less boring if he's spending more time on the books. Big C, your thoughts? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, when you think about a 19-year-old and everybody's dream and that plays basketball is to play in the NBA, the best league in the universe when it comes to basketball. Here's a kid saying that he finds it boring, but at least that's a good thing. He's not getting in trouble. So one more thing about the world of people who try to find trouble with something. The Cam Newton issue, maybe it's played out some about not talking to the media, but bigger than that, I want to get your thoughts on Kaepernick stating that he didn't go to the first meeting with the NFL and trying to figure out how to deal with a lot of the social issues because he wasn't sure that he was welcome, and he was right because he wasn't welcome. But if the players invite him, then that's something he can do. I want to get your thoughts on, does it really matter to him right now that he cares about getting in this year, or would he be more open to getting in next year, if that makes any sense at all? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I believe there's a couple teams that can actually use Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
We talked about the Phoenix Cardinals last night.
Yeah.
I don't see Carson Palmer coming back from this injury.
No.
And he's 36, 37 years old. He's had injury-laden past couple of seasons. And this offense needs a rejuvenation. Just like when Adrian Peterson came in, he brought some energy to the offense. They need that at quarterback because who knows who the backup quarterback for the Cardinals is. I think it's Travis Lelay or somebody like that.
Yeah.
But nobody who's going to do anything, or Drew Stanton, nobody who's going to do anything to spark the NFL. I mean, we can look at Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
The 31st ranked quarterback in the NFL, making $126 million on the contract.
Yep.
And he's the 31st ranked passer in the NFL.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick is better than at least 15 starters in the NFL.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I don't care either if you poll all the owners, poll all the GMs, poll all the players. He's better than 15 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and everybody knows that.
Yep.
He had a bad year in San Francisco because the team was bad, the organization was bad.
They haven't won since they released him. They have not won since they released him, and they had a bad team that last year. They had a bad season, but he was still 16-4 quarterback to interceptions and only 8 starts last year. That's the thing you look at. In 8 starts, if you're 16 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, if you play it out over the whole year, maybe you're 32-8. I mean, that's pretty good for any quarterback, but I think you're right on that. And if we finish on the 49ers with the Kaepernick thing, did you hear where the 49ers had a questionnaire where they're a team with 5 world championship trophies, 5 Lombardi trophies, has digressed to the point where they can't keep good players and don't even want to keep them, and now they're asking the fans, does winning matter? Big C, are we in an alternate universe? Would you expect such a thing from the NFL ownership, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, that lets you know how low this organization has gone, Charlton. You got rid of your best player in Kaepernick.
Yeah.
The guy taking you to the last Super Bowl that you did it. You ripped the heart out of the city by taking the team out to Santa Clara.
Oh, yeah.
And if anyone knows the logistics of California, Santa Clara and San Francisco are not right next door to each other.
No,
okay?
no.
They're ways away.
Yeah.
Not only that, you took them from this nice, cool, comfortable environment that they were playing on the bay.
The history.
Into like a desert environment where it's one of the hottest stadiums in the NFL, heat-wise.
Yeah.
The heat index is just off the charts there in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Because where you built it was just in a dry area.
Yep.
All right? And now you're asking fans, you're sending out this questionnaire. Tell us about your game day experience. Well, it's got to suck in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to pick 95%.
It's a shame you haven't won any games, and you're asking people that spend between $100 and $600 for a ticket. What is their experience? Did I read that right? Big C? Am I delusional?
Yeah, and then you're going to ask them, what is the important? How do you rate winning?
Yeah.
Is it important? Somewhat important? Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was like 5 different answers, but it was important
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How the hell are you going to ask somebody who's paid the money they went to work all week for
Yeah.
to come and not only buy a ticket, but you got to buy a seat license to sit in the stadium?
Yeah.
And then you got a team, probably the worst product in the NFL right now. You most likely have the #1 draft pick.
Yep.
So if you're a quarterback, if you're a college quarterback, you got to worry about where you're going to San Francisco next year. Okay?
Yep, that's a good.
And then you got to sit here and ask the fans, is winning important? Because we're not trying to. If you have to ask that question,
Yeah.
that means it's not important to management. You're not trying. Everybody thought it was Jed York last year.
Yeah.
That was tearing up the team, and Trent Baalke.
Yeah.
And Jed York is still there. Trent Baalke's gone.
Yeah.
But so you hire a new GM who is just like Trent Baalke.
Yep.
John Lynch. You give him a 6-year contract, and he has the nerve to ask the fans.
Hey, I wonder if they'll ask him, is it important to get his paycheck next time? Do they hand out checks or is it direct deposit? I don't know how they pay these good boys. Probably direct deposit, but they should put that question there. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Before we close on the NFL, down on the farm, you have Bryce Love Stafford with a kind of a bummed ankle tonight there at Oregon. In a big game in the Pac-12 for Stanford, I think Oregon, once they lost their starting quarterback, they've been kind of struggling, but they still have a great salary for the head coach up there, making about $3 million a year in Taggart. But I want to get your thoughts on Shaw right now, because And I know we're going to talk about this, and it probably won't happen, but here's a guy who all he does, he's like DJ Khaled. All he does is win, win, win no matter what. He can't get an NFL ownership that's about 15 miles away to come down and say, what will it take for you to come here and help turn this organization around? He's never had a losing record in the Pac-12. He's made a bowl game every year that he's been at Stanford. He's had more kids drafted from Stanford into the NFL than Jim Harbaugh had when Jim Harbaugh was there. And he can't get the 49ers, who can see him as the savior to their organization, and say, we'll open up the paybook for people who don't win. And they gave somebody, $14 million to leave. Can't they give this man $14 million to never have a losing season and bring that winning attitude to the 49ers, Big C? Is that too much to ask? Your thoughts?
Well, it ironically is, Charlton. They wanted the sexy name in Shanahan, okay? You bring him as your coach because he had just led the Falcons as an offensive coordinator to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But when you look at what the Falcons' record had been over the previous 3 years, Charlton, they were just a 500
yeah.
team realistically.
Yep.
They were not blowing anybody away. So
yeah.
all of a sudden, and even when they went to the Super Bowl, they were only 11-5 team.
Yep.
So it wasn't like they were a dominant team. They just happened to get hot at the right time and win a couple games, Charlton.
Yeah.
Just like the Falcons this year. They're the same team, basically,
yep.
that they were last year. They didn't make any changes.
No.
And so they've come back to us. Matt Ryan is not an elitist quarterback in the NFL. He's a middle of the road.
Yeah.
But when you look at this scenario with the 49ers, David Shaw's always been down the street. Okay?
Yep, always.
This is the third coach that they've hired and not even giving David Shaw any consideration.
Yeah. It's stupid.
$14 million to walk away. You look at your boy Kelly.
Kelly, yep.
I mean, he was a laughing stock. He didn't want to be there. He just wanted the money.
Yep.
Now you bring in now, and you give him a 6-year.
Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah.
David Shaw will win more games over the next 6 years at Stanford than Shanahan will win in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Mark that.
Yeah. And
more games over the next 6 years at Stanford than Shanahan will win in San Francisco.
Yeah. Obviously.
The organization, just like what the question is.
Yeah.
Is it important that you think we should win games?
That's a very good point, Big V. Very big swing. We're going to clear your microphone real quick. I want to get one more thought on you. Tonight's game on Thursday Night Football. And, you know, unlike the Dodgers and the Astros last night, you have the Dolphins at the Ravens. And I know they got to build this game as a game that has two great quarterback and two great whatever. I mean, I don't know how they're going to build it. But I'm sure there'll be a decent crowd in Baltimore. But the fact that both teams have turned their back on a Kaepernick that's playing better, that played better in his last season at San Francisco than these two guys, Flacco. And I know that Mr. Sleepy is not playing for Miami tonight. But your thoughts on Dolphins at Ravens? The Dolphins have been getting lucky and winning some games, even though they don't score touchdowns. Big C, your thoughts on tonight's game? Yeah. Sleepy Cutler is what you're trying to say. Yeah. 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 And again, we're still having some weather issues down south, so I'm having an issue with your microphone, Big C, but we'll try to clear it up real quick. Go right ahead and finish up that point, then I'll come back right back to you. Go right ahead, sir. Yeah.
Because you can't market their offense any longer, Jonathan. They don't have a quarterback that can get the ball to the receivers.
No.
The offensive line has been somewhat banged up. They have no running game.
Yep.
And Terrell Suggs and the rest of the defense is getting old, Charlton.
Yeah.
This is not the defense that went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
That's a very good point.
He's not the quarterback that went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. He's a quarterback right now that doesn't seem to care.
Yep.
Miami go with a giant. You know, if they can get that running game going along with those young wide receivers led by Landry.
Yeah.
They can have a big night tonight in Baltimore. So I like the Dolphins' chances in this game, and their defense can put a lot of pressure on Flacco because he lacks mobility, Charlton.
That's a good point, Big C. Back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, How can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe? That should be a great game down in Houston and Oregon at Stanford at Oregon State tonight. Should be a good game for the Stanford Cardinals to keep proving. And as we always find out every Friday, and we'll talk about college football tomorrow in the NFL. So every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m., follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. We always want to tell you, there's never ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any woman going through that garbage, just call 911, because no woman should have to deal with that on her own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.